All right. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. This is called Keyword Search and SEO for Handmade Sellers. Learn how to do keyword searches to get an effective content creation strategy to support your business online. And holy cow, that's a mouthful, but I'm going to walk you through it. And it will all make sense at the end, I promise. In this masterclass, I'm going to show you how you can make the shift from feeling completely confused as to how keywords and SEO works and how they drive traffic for your business to feeling confident and crafting content that builds and supports your own standalone website. And that was another mouthful, but by the end, it's all going to make sense. And this is what we're going to do in this masterclass this morning. We are going to plant the seed by talking about the different tools that you need to do keyword and SEO research. We are going to learn how to nurture that knowledge by how it applies in your business. We're going to watch it grow by showing examples of how you can use these skills in your content. And then at the end of the class, I am going to share with you information about how you can be in the inaugural class of my brand new course, Bloom, Grow Your Handmade Business Online. Now, if you stick with me until the end of the masterclass and you decide that you want to go on this website building journey with me, I have a special bonus for you today. So now I'd like you to turn off all distractions, and I'm going to let you know that you are in the right place if you feel confused about how keywords work. You're in the right place today if you feel overwhelmed in trying to figure out where to begin. And you're in the right place if you feel like you're ready to make the move to your own website, but you just don't know where to start. Because we've all been there. As handmade sellers, we are so good at our craft, but the tech stuff, not so much. And I've been there. It took me a long time to learn it and perfect it, and that's why I'm here today. So let me know in the comments, are you a number 1? You feel confused about how keywords work? Are you a number 2, where you feel overwhelmed and trying to figure out where to even begin? Or are you a number 3? You feel like you're ready to make the move to your website, but you have no idea where to start. So I'm going to look here in the comments and you let me know where you are. Also, I have to give you a disclaimer. I am, as many of you know, a mom with a 4-year-old daughter and a dog who hates the mailman. So if you hear either one of them in the background, that is, that's the benefit and downfall of doing a live. Okay, so Mary says that she is 1 to 2, but has a website. So confused about, the keyword confusion. Jeanette shared that she's a number 1. The confusion about keywords is real because I think it's hard to wrap our mind around. Keywords aren't necessarily just a single word. Keywords are entire phrases, and how we use those phrases in our copy or what we write is how we get people to our website. All right, Deborah shared that she's a 2 and a 3. Yeah, whatever your motivation is for being here, I fully support you because I've walked this journey myself and I understand how frustrating it can be. I'm going to share a little bit about me just so you know a background of who I am and what makes me think I can be doing this. So this is me, my husband, and my daughter, Evelyn. You will see my husband is actually my high school sweetheart. We have known each other since I was 13 and I'm pushing 40. So we have known each other a long time. This is our 4-year-old daughter, Evelyn. And I just wanted to share with you where I began. This was my first show 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago now, back in 2010. I took my little handmade jewelry and laid it out on a table at my very first show and was thrilled to be coming home with $160. And that, I couldn't believe it. And this is where I am today. It has been many years of working, refining, and branding, and it's always a work in progress, but I feel like I've really made it. I really worked hard. I love looking back on these old pictures and seeing where I've gone and where I've come from to where I am today. And as far as my business experience, I have a business making handmade jewelry, as you can see. I have had 10 years of handmade business ownership. Thank you. I see Carolyn's an expert. Thank you, Karen. Carolyn, I'm so glad that you're here. And Mary, thank you for the compliment. Mary said it's a nice transformation, and I appreciate it. It has been a long and evolving road. 10 years of handmade business ownership, over 30,000 website and social media followers, which I love every single one of them, and I love seeing the interaction on my page, and this is really what fuels me here. And over $500,000 in revenue since I began. And when I was running those numbers to do this presentation, I about fell out of my chair because that is a lot of handmade jewelry to hustle over the last 10 years. And it's me. I don't have an assistant or someone else who does production. It's all these two hands. So it is doable. Now, I'm here to tell you that I've systematically brought my show customers online with a strong list building strategy. That has been the foundation of my online business. I have systems for building and sustaining my online business because I don't have an assistant. I don't have a virtual assistant, or I don't have someone here working and making jewelry. It's me that I'm balancing with a part-time job as a speech pathologist and being a mom, stay-at-home mom for my daughter, and just kind of running the household. The biggest benefit of this is that I get to focus on creating my art without having to do a show every weekend. And that's because I've built my online strategy. And you'll see here how the keywords have made a big difference for me in getting my content out to the world beyond just my audience. Could you imagine what it would feel like if you were able to create and sustain your own website where you could sell your work, engage with a tribe of raving fans, and only say yes to the shows that you love? Let me know in the comments if this is like the big time goal, to not have to haul back and forth to those little shows or sit out in the rain or schlepping in out of the church basements and the school cafeterias. We've all done it. And I still do it. There are shows that I love. There's a show right here up the street from me that is a school band show, and I do it every November, and I love it. So it would be really nice to be able to cut back and just do the shows that we love. And now we're going to talk about how keywords and SEO works into all of that. So now we're going to get into the lesson. Understanding keywords and how to do keyword research gives you the power to create content that will get your amazing products out in front of the world. And just to review, keywords are the words and phrases that you use in your copy, which means in your wording, of product listings, of blog posts, etc., that get people to find you online. It matches up what they're searching. SEO is search engine optimization. And what that means is search engines like Google find your content based on these words. The more people that search those words look at your listing or content and read it and spend time with it, the more relevant you are. So that's why we're constantly working on these keywords and how we use them in our business. Keywords are a critical part of your online marketing strategy. They're the markers that search engines look for to match your website listings to customer searches. So these are the words and the phrases that get you found. And you likely already have a list of keywords to start from. You might not even know it. So you're probably ahead of the game. Keywords are a critical part of your online business strategy. And for the first point, we are going to talk about creating and working from a master list, because this is what's going to create consistency for your brand. Now, I'm going to tell you here that, of course, you're going to get a replay of this masterclass. And at the end, with the replay, I'm also going to send you a list of resources. So don't feel like you have to drive yourself crazy writing each of these points down, because this is going to be in your email for you to refer back to whenever you need it. So to start a keyword search, you first make a list of important, relevant topics based on what you know about your business. And I recommend choosing 5 to 10 to start out with. So, for example, if you sell at craft shows, these might include phrases or comments that you frequently hear from customers. So for example, if you sell lavender soaps and you hear a lot of customers coming to your checkout and saying, I love this lavender soap, I'm buying it for my niece's baby shower. And everyone seems to be buying these as gifts for babies or baby showers. A keyword phrase that you could use would be baby shower gift, gift for new mom. Do you see how that translates over? If you have some followers on social media, this might include questions your followers ask or comments they make. So if you have, let's say I make upcycle jewelry and I do a lot of flower jewelry, and I have a lot of women saying, oh, my garden club would absolutely love these. These would be a great gift for my friend who's in the club. A keyword phrase that I might use would be garden club gift, gift for gardeners, gift for people who love to garden. They're long phrases, they're not single words, but the chances of my product matching what someone wants when they search that is higher. So this is all going to come into focus here. Once you have your 5 to 10 topics, for each of those topics, I want you to start brainstorming keywords and phrases that you think your perfect customer would search for to find your content or product. And this is going to be a brain dump. So anything that you can think of that would go in underneath these topics. You'll take your brain dump list and start searching those phrases on Google. When I'm done going through this here, we're going to do a video walkthrough, so don't stress if you're like, oh, this is too much. You'll scroll down, search for related terms, and see what other keywords or phrases you should consider, because Google does this for you. It tells you what else people search. And then if you want to take it even further, you could select some of those terms and see what other keywords and phrases are found. And let's walk through this here in a minute. You're going to copy and paste the words and phrases. I use a Google Doc. If you are a pen and paper person, you could write them down. The reason I do a Google Doc is because it's easy to copy and paste while you're searching. And then you're going to use those topics and phrases in your copy or your wording when you're creating content. We're going to do a simple and easy keyword search using Google and Google Docs. So over here, I have created a Google Doc that has 5 ideas for keyword phrases that I think my ideal customer would search for if she was looking for one of my necklaces. So you can see here, my list includes spring necklace trends, statement necklaces, flower necklaces, earthy long layering necklaces, and statement necklaces for bridal party. It's important to note that just because you call your product something doesn't mean that that's what your customer is going to call it. So this list will evolve. So how I do the keyword search is I am going to copy this first phrase, spring necklace trends, go over to Google, and I'm going to paste it in the search bar. And you'll notice when I type it in, these different search options come up. And this is these are other suggestions of searches that might also be relevant to that phrase. So that's one way to pay attention to it. If something popped out to me like spring jewelry trends 2020, I might click on that, but I want to see what comes up for spring necklace trends. And on Google, you'll see that you'll get an image search first, and then you'll see some different articles. Well, I might want to go into these articles and read them to see if any of those jewelry items look like what I'm selling, because I think if somebody is reading that article and they like that jewelry, well, they might like mine. So maybe I would use that keyword phrase and create an article of my own featuring one of my necklaces and maybe different ways they could wear it for spring. So I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom of Google, and you'll see you get a list of searches related to spring necklace trends. Now, this is a list that's similar, if not the same, to the list that popped up when I typed in those keywords. So let's say, okay, I like spring summer 2020 jewelry trends. So I'm going to click on that. it's going to take me to this list, and I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste that underneath my spring necklace trends search because that was related. So those keywords and that keyword phrase is related to my initial search. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see, okay, here are some articles that have these different trends. What I notice about them is 6 biggest trends, 8 spring 2020 trends. There are a lot of lists that are coming up, so now I'm getting ideas of, okay, this is the kind of content that I could create, including my products, and maybe boost myself up in the search. Do you see how that all happens? So if you want to, you can scroll down one more time, look here at the bottom, and see what comes up. Okay, now I make handmade jewelry, so I'm interested in seeing what comes up under handmade jewelry trends 2020. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here under my keywords. And now I'm going to scroll through and see. And again, I'm noticing that there are lots of different lists with numbers, 5 of this, 10 of this. So Etsy for handmade sellers is always a good place to go and look for trends because they have trend reports. But for this, let's say I'm going to click over here. This is going to take me to Pinterest. And Pinterest is a great place to be searching for keywords because it scrolls down here to the side and shows you, okay, if you like this word, these words might be helpful to you too. These categories might be where you want to look. So let's see if I see anything that I like here. Okay, so I'm going to look at jewelry design. And it's going to take me down. Now, these ones look like they're more tutorials. So, nope, I'm going to back out of that because that's not what I want. Jewelry accessories. Let's see. Okay, so this is showing me things for purchase. And you can see across the top here then, layering necklaces, rings, earrings. So you can see how you kind of go down a little rabbit hole of finding words and finding phrases. But what you want to do is be looking for words and phrases that jump out at you, and you can use those words and phrases either to create an article or to use to describe your collection or something in your website. So that's what you'll do. You'll just keep on going down, copying and pasting into here. And these are going to be your long tail keywords, which are keyword phrases that are 3 or more words. And you could also create some basic short tail keywords, which are things like jewelry, accessories, handmade necklace. What that means is these words are very general, so it's going to be harder for you to get found because there are probably millions of websites that tag jewelry and accessories and handmade necklace. There won't be as many websites that are tagging spring summer 2020 jewelry trends. Do you see the difference? All right, so that was a little bit of a rabbit hole, but that's how the keyword search works. You just keep finding words, copying and pasting them, and then what you end up with is a nice document of words and phrases that you're going to pull from when you're writing content later down the road. And it's a good idea to revisit your keywords every couple of months or seasonally, because usually our products and our content will change with the season and with different occasions. So let's move on to point number 2, searching popular and social sites to keep on trend. To stay relevant, you should find how your product fits into trending topics. And moving on to, different seasons, different events, this is all what's going to help to fuel new content constantly. Websites and blogs that feature trends and hot topics are a great source for content ideas. These include things like Pinterest and BuzzFeed, Harper's Bazaar. The list is endless of places you can go to find what's trending. What other websites do you think someone who wants your product would visit? So I'd like to know here in the comments, do you have any sites or any brands that you think your perfect customer would follow? And then how could you weave those products or topic ideas into your own content? I'll give you an example for myself. So again, I make handmade jewelry. It's pretty bold statement jewelry, lots of colors, lots of flowers. So my perfect customer likely also follows brands like J. Crew and Anthropologie and Target. Those are the places that I know my customer also likes to shop, and those are the kind of products that they also like to see. So if I'm coming up with content ideas, let's say I decide I want to do a gift guide, I might include my jewelry and a top from J. Crew, or a skirt from Target, or pants from Anthropologie. Do you see how those all weave together, thinking about what my perfect customer would like? And I know those things, and I'm going to weave them in and hope that they get found by using keywords that I've found. All right, so talking about what other people like, Mary shared, thank you, that her perfect customer would like Pottery Barn, Board and Brush, Hobby Lobby. So then you could take content from those sites, sharing those products in a guide, a blog post, a top 5. You know, we're always thinking forward and thinking about how we can kind of build up our content and show people how it fits into their lives. Keyword research is important. You can't do today's job with yesterday's methods and be in business tomorrow. So this is something that you need to learn how to weave into your business. And once you get the hang of it, it clicks. And then you're like, okay, yes, I can do this. I'm going to show you a couple of tools that you can access for free where you can do some advanced keyword searching. And one of the first places I suggest you go is the Keywords Everywhere Chrome extension. If you are using Chrome or Firefox for your browser, you can install Keywords Everywhere as an extension. I use Chrome, and you can see up here it adds on, which means that it will kind of automatically pull up keywords based on your search. And this is there's a free version and a paid version. I use the free version. And I'm going to show you here over on Google. If I type in handmade jewelry, you'll see up on the right-hand side here of my page, this is my Keywords Everywhere result, and it shows me different keywords that are related to my search of handmade jewelry. And then it also shows me down here what people search for. So this is kind of a nice way to also find words and keywords that might not have come up by Google and you might not have generated yourself. And you can also go and click on these links and find, okay, like handmade jewelry hashtags, and that will take you down the rabbit hole there. So that is called Keywords Everywhere. The next source is Moz. Again, there is a paid version and a free version. So if you go to Moz, moz.com, and over here on the top, you're going to click on free SEO tools. And what you can do is you can type in the domain name of any website out there and see what keywords they're using. And this is going to be helpful to you if you are looking to get started and you want to have an idea of what kind of keywords to use. It's also going to help you figure out which keywords maybe to avoid, because there can only be one number one. So if you have someone in your category who is ranking high for a keyword and you see that there are other major brands that are ranking high for that keyword, that's something that you might not want to target per se, because you're not going to have the ad dollars it's going to take to compete and get ranked in Google for that keyword. And the last one I'm going to show you is called Uber Suggest. This is another free SEO tool, and it kind of does the same thing as Moz. You can enter in a domain name or a keyword and do a search, and it will provide you with results and show you what words they're ranking for, which means which words people are searching and finding them through. All right, so again, you can think of some brands that could align well with your product. Yaliza also gave like Hot Topic, Spencer's, Gothic Trends, Halloween, Tim Burton. Those are all great examples because that lets me know, okay, this is, like this gives me the general feel. Yes, this works on Instagram as well. You can do a search for, on Instagram, of course, we're using hashtags more so than on Facebook or on Pinterest. You can use hashtags on Facebook and Pinterest, but that's a whole other subject. But yes, when you are using your keywords, you can also use that on Instagram because people do search on Instagram for different topics. Okay, and then point number 3, we're going to talk about how you use these keywords to drive your content. Content includes all of the information that you are putting out into the world. That includes blog posts, product listings, social media posts, and emails. In order for your business to grow, you need to be producing new content regularly. Creating consistent content around your target keywords and phrases that are relevant to your product and your audience starts to establish your brand as an authority and a resource. You don't need to be reinventing the wheel, though, every time you put out content. Repurposing content that was created with your targeted keywords allows you to show up with more authority and more consistency across platforms. So examples would be things like blog posts, gift guides, social media posts, and email newsletters. You can create the same core content and share it on these different platforms in different ways. So you could make a blog post and link to a gift guide that maybe you host on Pinterest. Or you could post on social media with a picture and maybe 1 or 2 points or topics from the blog post. Or you could send out an email newsletter with a link to your blog. Do you see how you're kind of you're creating that piece of content with your keywords, but it gives you a lot of different ways to share it? So I'd like to hear, where are you sharing content now? Do you have a blog or a podcast? Are you active on any social media? My business, my jewelry business, I'm very active on Facebook because that is where the majority of my customers are. I started my business and my Facebook page way back when Facebook was really kind of the only game in town. So that's where a lot of people were, and that's where they remain. But I am on Instagram also, and I'm getting busier there. For my course in the education side of my business, I'm actually I have my Facebook group, which many of you are a member of, and that's where I kind of put out a lot of content and work on a lot of my sharing, and then I do a lot on Instagram. So I see here, Yaliza's on Instagram and Facebook, Natalie's Insta, Facebook, and some Pinterest, Jeanette is Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Yeah, for people like us who have products, Pinterest is a great place to be. And I always work on pinning things from my website and Etsy, and it helps. And Mary says, word of mouth so far started 2 months ago. Mary, welcome to the club. You are in the right place, girl. We are, you know what? Word of mouth is by far the best advertising. There is no recommendation better than one that comes from a friend. So it's fun. We crafters are kind of a wild bunch. I love being part of this world. My grandmother, I'll give you a little side note. When I was little, my grandmother had an antique shop, and I was extremely fortunate to have her shop maybe 5 or 6 houses down from my house. So after school, I would run down there. She was my best friend. I would run down there and she would let me play around and help with the setups and stuff. And she would travel on the weekends and do antique shows, and took my brother and I with her. And she always called it gypsying around. And I know that, now gypsying can have a negative social connotation. And of course, that's not what she meant when she said it. But I kind of think of her when I'm packing up and doing shows, and just us as a group of people. You get your show friends and you get your show business. So I digress. All right, so can we see how all of these pieces of keywords and content connect? Keywords drive your content. Your content is showing up on your social media, your blog, your email, your product descriptions, and your website categories. All of these things are being shown to your audience, and then your audience in turn is going to fuel your keywords. So it's a self-sustaining loop once you get it set up. You're going to be listening to your customers, and they're going to tell you what they want, and you're going to keep using those keywords to put it out there. So right now, you are in the right place if you know that keywords are an essential part of your business. You are in the right place if you want to cut down on the constant weekend hustle. Every weekend, it's hard to drag and set up and break down. And you're in the right place if you want to finally get your Shopify website set up and streamlined for success. So, I am going to tell you about what I have to offer. And there are two paths to take. We could stay stuck, or we could follow a proven roadmap. And this roadmap has been being built for the last 10 years. So, with that, we are finished with the keyword and SEO part. And now, if you've hung out with me to this point, I'm inviting you to the premiere launch of Bloom Grow Your Handmade Business Online. And this is the inaugural launch of my course. I am so honored that you've hung out with me this far to listen. And I'm going to tell you what's coming up. In this course, you will nail down your brand elements, get crystal clear on who your perfect customer is. And if you're in my group, we are going to work through this one step by step because everybody needs to know this. You can learn how to create and repurpose content, develop a solid social media and email marketing strategy that you can maintain on your own. And you're going to get a step-by-step walkthrough of how to best set up your Shopify website. Setting up a Shopify website is not difficult, but you have to do it in a way that is conducive to adding your handmade products. And I know because I set it up in a way that was difficult, and I figured out a great way to set it up for handmade. So the modules or the sections and topics of the course include branding, content creation, email marketing, social media, and Shopify. Additionally, you'll get a complete resources section where you'll have access to the resources that I use for my business, and you'll get a tech tutorial library, which is going to be expanding and ever evolving. The benefit of joining this course right now in the beta launch is I'm going to be creating the tech tutorial library to my students' specifications. So I have a list of standard tech tutorials that I will be adding, but as I get requests from enrolled students, I will be creating and adding in those tutorials. So you have a chance to really customize your course. And this isn't something I'm going to be offering in the next launches. This is something that I'm doing now to get kicked off. And I'm just like you. I started out like every craft business owner starts. I just worked hard on perfecting my product, and I'm always working on that, and building relationships. I have consistently experienced growth in my business as a result. This right here is where I started. I set up my tables in the church basements, in the school cafeterias, on the streets with the wind and the rain, and I still do it. But now I've grown and I have an audience and I've nurtured relationships with people that have been with me since day one, and I love it. So here's what you get as the course launches. You get 3 bonuses. Bonus number 1, a private students only Facebook with monthly live Q&A sessions. Now, I have a free group that is available to anybody and everybody with a handmade business where I am present and I do challenges. But this private group is going to be only for students where we'll do our sessions and I will give you support on each step in each module of the course. So we're going to walk through it together. Bonus number 2, I mentioned earlier, is a customized and expanding tech tutorial library. Now, once these tutorials go into the library, they'll stay there so you'll have forever access to them. But you have a unique opportunity to tell me what it is you want a tutorial in and get that created for you. And just so you know, I am offering a 5-day money-back guarantee. You'll know immediately if this is the right course for you. If you get into the modules and you find that your business isn't ready for this or you don't like it, I will gladly grant you a refund. And bonus number 3 is a 30-minute one-on-one live coaching session with me. This can be used to get you started going in the right direction, to work through a point that you're stuck on, to do maybe a personalized help on how to do listings or anything that you need help with. So if I separated all those out and sold them, it would be a little over $1,200. And that is if I did each individual thing separately. But I'm not doing that because that's ridiculous. I am getting this started, and I want handmade sellers to get out there and to be doing what I know they can do because I've done it. So today, I am launching for $197, and that gets you full lifetime access to the course and all of the bonuses. The next time I launch, it will be $397. And that's because I believe it's worth it. And that's the very least value of the course. The value of the course is much higher, but as part of the beta launch and the group that gets to decide what goes into the materials, you get the special deal today. So right now you have the option of clicking and joining, and it will take you over to the checkout page, and you'll be able to follow through from there. But because you stayed with me until the end today, as a bonus and a thank you for believing in me and trusting me with your education, you are going to get an additional 30-minute one-on-one coaching session. So that means you're going to get 2 30-minute coaching sessions from me. You can use these however you want. I'll record the coaching sessions so that you'll get them and access to an email. You'll be able to go and refer back to them. So if we talk about tech things or I do a walkthrough for you, you'll always have access to that. So that is the extra bonus that you get if you join today and you have hung out with me until the end. So if you click to go and join in today, you're just going to fill in your details. It will look like this. You'll get a confirmation page that you're in, and then you're going to log into the course. You'll start here. Modules 1 through 4 are available today. And module 5, which is the Shopify module, I'm actually working with Shopify to complete a couple of the modules. And we're going to start that all together on January 28th. The doors to the course close that day. And I wanted to really take time to walk everybody through the steps in the private students group. So you'll have immediate access to the branding, the content, and all those other modules. And that, if you're able to, is what I want you to dive into and look at and kind of line up, and then we'll get into Shopify. Let me just make sure that you understand that you have lifetime access to this course, the modules, and any updates that I make to the course. So you don't have to start it today, and you don't have to get everything done in order. It's a self-paced course. But in the group, in the private students group, we'll have modules and kind of steps that we work through together, just to make sure that we're moving forward and making progress and nobody is getting stuck. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I don't know where to start though. Like, I don't even know where I'm supposed to begin. And that's why you're here. You're here because I am going to tell you where to start. Now, you might start and you might say, oh, I've got this. I've got my branding down, but I'm not super solid on social media. Then that's where you're going to start. That's the benefit of a course, is that I'm going to show you step by step where to go. And you might be starting out in a different place, and then you're just ahead of the game. You might be thinking, my life is so hectic, I don't think I can keep up with this. Yeah, life is hectic. I have been trying to get this course ready. My daughter was supposed to start her preschool on January 2nd, and her preschool hasn't opened yet because they have not had their state inspection. So life has been crazy hectic. But I know that this time of year, this kind of winter break for us handmade sellers, is the time when it's time to learn, get our website set up, get the systems into place, because come April, May, when we're out there starting the spring shows, we want all of these pieces in place, because we want to be collecting customer contacts, getting those emails out there, and fueling our website with the show customers that we're going to meet. And then you might be thinking, okay, yeah, I know I need to do this. I know I need to be online. I am not techie. Guess what, folks? I'm not techie either, okay? But here's the thing. If I can do it, you can do it. I walk you through click by click by click, and you'll have those 2 coaching sessions plus the Facebook Live sessions where I promise you I will make sure you understand it. I am not a tech person. I am not a programmer. I am not a web designer, but I've done it. So I am going to walk you through it and make sure you get it done. So now I want to hear if you have any questions. I am open to any and all questions about SEO, about keyword search, Shopify, Facebook, handmade businesses. I am here to answer any questions that you might have. Let me see. I got to see here if I can actually see the questions on my computer and make sure that I'm actually addressing them. Because as I mentioned, I'm not a tech person. Okay, here we go. Now I see them. Natalie missed the first part. Yes, you are going to be getting an email with a link to the replay. So you'll be able to get a link to the replay and see it whenever you want. Yeliza. There is some time to think about it. Yeah, the doors to this course are going to be open until January 28th. So you have any time between now and January 28th to join, and that link will also be in your email. Mary is asking about Shopify versus Etsy or both in addition to your own website. Mary, Shopify would be your website unless you have one currently. I am not a web designer, so my course teaches specifically to Shopify. I do have an Etsy shop. I've had it since 2011 and it's active and I get sales actually almost every day. So at this point, it's kind of self-sustaining. So while I don't teach to Etsy directly in the course, I do talk about how you can use Etsy for marketing. And if there's interest, I'm absolutely opening to including some tech tutorials on it. I recommend if you're just starting out and you aren't selling anywhere online right now, to start on Etsy because it kind of gives you that platform. But if you have an audience, like let's say you have a social media following or you're doing shows and most of the people who come and buy from you on Etsy are coming because they got your card at a show, well, then it makes sense to set up on Shopify because if you're bringing your traffic, you're just paying Etsy their fees for like not a whole lot of reason. Like Etsy's a good place to get found when you're just starting if you have really good keywords and photos and SEO because people go to Etsy to shop. But if you're bringing your own customer and you're giving a card and saying, okay, come to my website, well, they might as well come to your website. You're going to save a lot of money that way. Okay. Okay, and then Jeanette was wondering the same thing. So let me know if that answered your question. Okay, Yeliza does illustrating paintings and custom-made wearable goods. Yes, of course. You can. That's the nice thing about Shopify. You can include everything. One of the lessons in the Shopify module is a walkthrough of how to set up your collections. And on Shopify, your collections can be anything. It's like shop sections in Etsy. So you can set up as many collections as you want. And you can set it up so that different products show up in different collections dynamically, which means on their own. Whereas in Etsy, a product can only be in one category. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a section that's, I don't know, Halloween. And you have a shirt that's a Halloween shirt. You have a digital download that's a Halloween digital download. And you have, small Halloween painting. You can have each of those things go into separate categories based on what they are, and you can tag them to go into a Halloween category. And what you're doing, you can separate your section. It's just like you're setting up a store. When you set up collections on Shopify, it's like a grocery store. So you go into the grocery store and what you see is what they've put out for you. But your collections and your SEO that you're using to get found, it's like the back stock. So like it's there, the collections exist, they just might not be in the front. So if you create a like Halloween section, but it's February, you're not going to have that out front on your shop, but it still exists back there. So if your customers are searching for Halloween themed t-shirts in February, they're still going to find it, if that makes sense. I might have gone down a rabbit hole there. Okay, Mary says, my domain is via GoDaddy with a Weebly site connected to Square. I gotcha. Okay. My domain is also with GoDaddy. And yeah, Square does have the Weebly site. Square has improved their websites once they hooked up with Weebly. I don't personally use that, but it's now if you are looking to switch to a more robust website, Shopify would be your best bet. If you're looking to stay and just kind of keep it simple, you're probably good on Weebly for a little while. It just doesn't give you a lot of design options, and I felt like it was a little bit clunky to get found. Okay. Natalie asked, do I have a bogey on what number of followers activity before it cost justifies to Shopify? So this is actually something that's interesting, and I should have talked about it. I was always under the impression that Shopify was really expensive. And I don't know why I thought that. Shopify is $29 a month. And then you have the same standard fees. I think it's about 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. So, and that's a credit card processing fee. You're going to get that anywhere, whether you're with Weebly, with Square, with Etsy. Everybody who processes a credit card is going to charge you a credit card processing fee. And they're usually between 2.5% and 3% plus like 20 to 30 cents a transaction. So for me, Natalie, I was driving all of my customers to my Etsy shop, and Etsy charges, let me see if I have this all correct. It's 5% of the total transaction, including your tax, including your shipping. It's 5% of the total transaction, 2.6 or 7% plus 25% per transaction, or 25 cents per transaction. So that extra 5% transaction fee is going to be the difference between Shopify and Etsy, because Etsy, and then of course Etsy has the 20-cent listing fee. A listing is good for 4 months. So you're getting charged 20 cents every time it relists. Hopefully it sells before the 4 months. And then if you have an item that has multiples, like let's say you have a bracelet and you have 10 of them, you get charged that 20 cents every time it relists. So you kind of have to take a look at your numbers and see where you're spending, what your fees are on Etsy, and at what point. That's going to depend on what your price point of your item is and how much you're selling. For me, the $29 for Shopify made more sense than all of the per transaction fees for Etsy. Now, as I mentioned, I do have an Etsy shop, and it's for things that I can reproduce, my quote bracelets, my earrings. And the reason I keep that active is because I do get, my Etsy shop has, I think, close to 5,000 sales now, and I've been on since 2011. So I have a pretty good foothold there. And what I do is I use that to drive customers to my website. Every time I send a packing slip, I have a little printout, and this is something, I have a little freebie on it that I can send you if you want it. I just do on my packing slip, I run it, I have a Word document that I created, a little graphic that says visit my website, and I print it right on the packing slip and I send it to them. And then in each of my Etsy listings, I also do a link where they can sign up for my email, and that gets them to my website too. Okay, so Jeanette asked what the monthly cost of a Shopify. It's $20. There's different plans. There's like a $9 light plan, and you don't want that because that just connects it to Facebook, and that's not real helpful. The $29 plan is what I use. There's a, I think, $79 plan, which is like if you're really selling a lot. And honestly, like I don't use the $79 plan. And if you were at that level, I don't think we'd be here. I think that's for people who are selling like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, which would be awesome. Like if you figure that out, come let me know. Mary, would you still be able to use Square to process payments from Shopify? Absolutely. That's what I do. Shopify does have a point of sale system with a chip reader that you can use. And in full disclosure, that was one of the reasons I liked Shopify. I got the point of sale reader and I didn't love it because I felt like it was too clunky to use at shows. And I get pretty busy and I don't have time for it to pull and render all of the things that are in my shop. So I just keep it separate. I do use my Square Reader at shows, and I'm just waiting for Shopify to kind of make their point of sale system a little bit more user friendly, because I would prefer to use that. I would love to use that, because of course, when people use your Shopify point of sale checkout, they're added to your customer list on your website like automatically. So yes, I do still use Square to process payments at shows. I will caution you, if your Square Reader is connected to your Etsy shop as payment processing, You're getting charged 20 cents per transaction from Etsy, even if your listing wasn't in Etsy. Way back when, I don't know if anybody here remembers, Etsy came out with their own card reader. It was a complete fail. So then they partnered with Square and they wanted everybody to hook their Square up, which I did for a minute. And then I read the fine print and I was like, oh my God, they're getting 20 cents for every transaction. That would be, I have shows where I do 400 transactions. It's like, that's a ridiculous amount of money just to give Etsy. So I disconnected that, but I do use Square at the shows. Okay. Yeliza, what's my opinion on Wix? Jeannie might be able, okay, Jeannie commented here. Jeannie loves Wix. I've never used it, so I can't speak to it. Okay. Natalie, is it hard to set up Shopify? Girl, that's what I'm teaching you. It doesn't take much time to set up. I will be doing a walkthrough of it, but I don't, it's, you know, you have your basic demographic stuff that you're setting up. You're going to connect any payment accounts. I take Shopify payments. I just decided to quit taking PayPal payments because it makes my accounting a nightmare. And it was like a big relief. But you can connect PayPal. I believe you can connect Stripe. You can take Shopify credit card payments where it direct deposits into your bank account. So that stuff is pretty easy to set up. And then what I've done is I have a system for how to create your collections and how to create tags so that when you list products, they kind of automatically filter out to where you want to go. So no, I don't feel it. If I could do it, you could do it. And I think my site looks okay. Actually, I think my site looks good. That's why I'm here. So we work together on that. That's not hard. Okay. Okay. I think that's all the questions. Does anybody else have any other questions? I hope I answered all of them. We can't, like I said, the course addresses Shopify. So I will be helpful to you as much as I can on other platforms. I can speak to Etsy because I've been on there for ages, but this course is not going to show you how to set up an Etsy shop. We will talk about how you can leverage your Etsy shop to get people over to your Shopify site, but it's not going to be a how to build Etsy. If you do want a how to build Etsy shop, I do have a friend who teaches that. But here we're talking about building your own Shopify site because that's going to be, in my opinion, the most sustainable for your business in the future. Just to think way ahead, one of the nice benefits of Shopify is you can sell any product basically that's not illicit or illegal. So if you decide someday, like I sell handmade jewelry, and a couple of years ago, my customers started, you know, oh, I love your shirt. Where'd you get your shirt? Where'd you get your shirt? Where'd you get your shirt? Well, I decided I'd start selling that shirt. So I can't sell it on Etsy because I do not hand make those shirts, but I do sell them on my Shopify website. And it's something that I can add in. It's a value added item for my customers. They're there for my jewelry, but they also, you know, have this other option. So Shopify gives you the flexibility to expand your product line and kind of pivot directions. You can sell handmade products, you can sell physical products, you can sell digital products if you sell digital downloads. It's really, the key there is that you're going to be driving your own traffic to your website. And that's kind of my angle, is where it shows, if we're collecting emails and we're getting customers and we're bringing traffic, it kind of feeds on itself once you get those systems set. Okay, Natalie. Oh, good. Natalie says she'll do Shopify. Okay. All right. Well, I believe that is all we have for today then. If anybody has, you can always feel free to email me. You will be getting an email with a link to the replay of this masterclass, and you'll get the replay. I will link to the websites that I use for keyword search. And I will link to where you can go to check out more of the details on the course. If you have questions, you can ask me in the group. You can email me. You can send me a message, a private message on Facebook, whatever is most convenient for you. I thank you so much for being here until the end. I worried and stressed about this, and I'm so happy and confident that you guys are here, and that hopefully I can be helpful to you in growing your handmade business. This year is the year. 2020 is the year. I feel it. So everybody have a wonderful day, and I'm going to pop off.